Howdy folks, today we will be discussing the singular knife that I own that has actually bit me. This is the Cold Steel Pocket Bushman, and it is quoted as being the strongest folding knife that you can own on the commercial market today. So, the story behind this. I am a subscriber to Scalagrim and a couple of other YouTube knife reviewers, big shocker there. And I've seen this knife pop up in a couple of videos across the internet as being quite infamous for that stiff locking mechanism you see right here. Hopefully that's in the shot. So I actually quite like the look of it. It really does remind me of a Mercator K55K upscaled or on steroids. It's got the same style of folded steel handle, sheet steel. The blade's actually pretty decent quality, and for what I'm not a big fan of Cold Steel, the company, because they tend to overhype their knives and their strength. But usually they are pretty sharp out of the box. They're decent quality for the price you pay. I think I paid $30 for this knife, and as I said, this is kind of a story time with Iron Wings episode with a little bit of story, but not a whole lot. Because really the only reason I got this knife is I just kind of liked it on YouTube. So, anyway, the story behind this knife is that I saw these reviews, liked it, ordered it on Amazon, and was hyped as hell to own it. Go up to my college dorm room, I throw this in my drawer, and I mess with it every day or so. I'm looking at it, trying to figure it out, getting familiar with it, because this is going to be my new backpack knife, for camping, whatever. And like I said, I don't think it's strong enough to, go battering wood in the woods with or anything like that. This is just kind of a neat gimmick knife that came really sharp. And I can tell you how I know it came really sharp because, as I stated, this is the only knife that has ever bit me. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's a line on my thumb right there, where my finger is, and might not have been in focus, but one night while I was at college, I was using this to cut up something. I think I was cooking, or I was cutting up an apple with it because it was the only knife I had at hand. So I go to fold it, put it away. I do it this way now just for safety's sake. And when I go to close it, I'm holding it like so. I don't know if you can see that. And because my hands are still wet or slippery, my hand slips up and my thumb runs up the length of the blade, slicing so deep you can see white. It's pouring blood. I grab a washcloth that's near me from my laundry basket that I just finished cleaning that night. I'd finished doing the laundry. Wrap it in that, put pressure, and I go to my college roommate. And this is one of the few knives I actually haven't sold. This is one of the few that I never got rid of. And I bang on his door, hey man, where's the emergency room? I think I might need stitches. So he gets in his car, drives me down to Redwood Emergency Center, or Redwood Emergency Room, where I get 3 or 4 stitches in my thumb, and it's put into a brace. I can't use it for almost a week. And it was kind of a hard thing to explain to not only my parents, but my professors about why I missed class the next morning because I was at the hospital at the emergency room until like 2 or 3 in the morning. Didn't get any sleep because of this knife. And then my parents, I was on their insurance at the time because the VA hadn't approved my insurance or my disability yet. So on their insurance bill, they got charged for going to an outside provider, like an extra $150, something like that. So I had to explain to my professors why I missed college that day, like my classes. And I had to explain to my parents why I made a trip to the hospital at 3 in the morning. So, yeah, I will never get rid of this knife just because it's the one that bit me. And I'm a firm believer that once a knife injures you, you can't get rid of it. It's kind of yours at that point. And to me, this kind of sells bad luck. I do not use this knife. This sits in my gun safe, and it's one of the ones that will never be gotten rid of because I honestly don't recommend anyone buy this. As I've seen on numerous reviews before, the locking mechanism and this smooth steel handle sell you danger because if you use this when you're in the woods, let's say you're going to cut up some sticks to roast hot dogs on or something, if your hand is moist in any little way, your hand will slip on this smooth steel handle. This is kind of dangerous to me, especially with this ram lock. It makes for a very strong locking mechanism and a very strong folding knife, but because of the design being basically spring-loaded and it's extremely strong, if your hand's wet in any way, you go to fold that knife and your hand's moist from like holding the branch or from your sweat, it's going to slip and you're going to slice either your thumb off or you're going to cut yourself very deeply, and I know from experience. So, do I recommend this knife to anyone? For collecting, for display, because it does look neat. Do not get me wrong, it looks cool. It's very neat looking. Yeah, okay. Go ahead and, as long as you don't use it, buy it. But as a tool, this thing is a massive danger and I cannot recommend anyone getting it. So, why don't I get rid of it? Like I said, just because I think it's bad luck to put this on anyone else, to sell this knife to anyone else. And so it will sit in my safe, and if it does ever get, if I ever get rid of it, it'll be thrown in the trash, or I might just destroy it because, again, it has already cut me once. So, yeah. I'm sorry I can't really give you a factual review on this knife because most of the time, like I said, these story times are just my personal anecdotes and my opinions. So yeah, I can't recommend this knife to anyone. Do not buy it. Don't take it as a gift from anyone. Just avoid this thing like the plague because it will wind up injuring you. With that, let me know down below. Do you own one of these? Has it ever injured you? Or have you had issues with your hand slipping on the handle while using? Go ahead and drop a comment down below if you have, or if you had a different experience with this knife, because I always value different opinions. Hit the like and subscribe. I hope to see you on our next story time with Iron Wings. And in the meanwhile, this is Iron Wings 3187 signing off.